Stevenson, and then we are wrapping.
Okay, just to guarantee you that my comments are germane, I quote your mandate. It says the Commission will examine whether existing state laws and regulations have been fairly and vigorously enforced. In 2009, I testified at the Senate Judiciary hearing on judicial oversight regarding egregious corruption in the nomination and confirmation of Chief Judge Jonathan Lippman. But those hearings were abandoned without explanation, and my evidence, along with evidence submitted by hundreds of courageous New Yorkers, was destroyed. No findings, no investigation. I hope you people are going to do a better job. In April of this year, in response to U.S. Attorney Barrera's appeal for tips about corruption, I sent a formal citizen's complaint to his office with similar evidence under penalty of federal perjury law. The only response I got was an acknowledgement of the letter. It's been 6 months, nothing else. The complaint documents that during the nomination process, then First Department Presiding Judge Lippman provided illegal favors to a lawyer who was a close friend and business partner, owned a building with, was a law partner with, shared an office with, a member of the Judicial Nomination Commission, the JNC, the same body responsible for nominating Lippman for Chief Judge. I think everybody here will recognize that's a conflict of interest. When I wrote to the JNC a formal letter documenting this conflict of interest, their response was this message left on my answering machine. Excuse me one moment. One moment. This is Fred Brewington from the JNC.
Mr. Galison, this is Fred Brewington. You sent me an email concerning the JNC. Please do not send me any further information concerning this, and the information that you did send me, I am going to shred at this point. Thank you.
Okay, that's one of the deputies of one of the commissioners of this Commission for Judicial Nomination. And he's telling me that he doesn't want to hear from me. I sent it to all 12 members of that commission. It is a detailed document of of my letters to Lippman complaining about this lawyer and Lippman's absolutely disingenuous, illegal favors to this lawyer, who was, as I say, shared an office and buildings and real estate with a member of the commission, Gerald Lefcourt. Lippman's confirmation process was even more corrupt. The State Judiciary Committee, chaired by indicted Senator John Sampson, broke the most fundamental rules of procedure in their confirmation hearing. Fact, according to the New York State website, all standing committees may hold public hearings. The Senate rules require not less than 5 days. Not less than 5 days to announce a hearing, a public hearing. Fact, Lippman's confirmation hearing was officially announced less than 1 day before it was held. That fact alone should render the hearing illegal and void. It gets worse. The late announcement did not even mention that the hearing was public, thereby assuring that no critics of Lippman would attend. And Mr. Williams, I hope you'll listen to me now because this regards you. But dozens of Lippman's friends and colleagues were invited well in advance of the hearing, thereby packing the public hearing with Lippman's supporters while effectively excluding the actual public. Anywhere but in New York State, that would be called election fraud, and people would go to jail. And the friends of Lippman included the spokesman for the Fund for Modern Courts, of which Mr. Milton Williams is the chairman.
No, I'm right here.
Oh, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, yeah. Pardon me.
There
well, shame on you, sir. Shame on you. Did Fern Scher Sussman not know that the public was not invited when she was invited days in advance, or did she find out that morning at 9 o'clock like the rest of the public in New York? I can assure you that she knew in advance, and that is criminal, sir. And you are complicit. A few actual citizens who actually found out about the hearings from a leak gave the Senate Judicial Council Commission
Mr. Galison, we're just
Committee
moving.
Powerful evidence of Lippman's corruption, including complaints that were pending before the CJC at the time of the hearing. In violation of their duty, the Judiciary Committee did not even review the evidence about Lippman and did not mention it in their report to the full Senate.
Mr. Galison, if you could just work to wrap up.
I'm sorry, I need to say this. This is extremely important, and it regards you, madam.
Great.
Okay, thank you. Judicial corruption. Judicial corruption victim Sunny Sheu would be testifying here today, and I'm going to take his 3 minutes, because 3 days after publicly exposing financial disclosure fraud by a Supreme Court judge, Lippman appointee Joseph Golia, Sunny was murdered. Sunny was a victim of mortgage fraud who discovered that the judge on his case, Lippman appointee Joseph Golia, was complicit in the mortgage fraud.
Mr.
And he asked
Galison,
Lippman,
let me give you a few more
I'm
minutes.
sorry,
There are
I'm
a few
going
more
to speak.
people who want to testify
I know that.
tonight.
And you know what? We listened to
speak,
Mr.
but if you could actually
Fitzpatrick speak for an hour about the
you
credentials
can-
of the people at this table,
I know, but if you could gladly
which we
leave
can
your
all read on the
testimony.
website. But we had to listen to him congratulate all these people here, and at the expense of the people that have extremely, this is about a murder, madam. I wish you would listen. In
Mr.
January
Galison, there are
2009,
also others who are
Sir, your time
speaking.
is up. Do you understand the basic
Yeah,
concept
you know,
of
you're-
following the rules? The rules
Yeah,
are your
other
time
people
is
have
up.
had more than
you
3
wonder
minutes.
why nobody listens to you?
You've have
Oh,
6
sir.
minutes. I gave you an extra
the
3 minutes.
reason why
over the
nobody
break.
listens to me is because people
taken
like
up
Milton
the time.
Williams are having a direct conflict of interest with fighting
Mr.
corruption in this
That
case.
Milt Williams or this Milt Williams? Your time is
I don't
up.
know. I
In
thought that
fact,
was
you've
Mr.
been-
Williams.
You've been fruited on the time of the remaining speakers.
I need to say this. You
This
can have me
meeting-
thrown out if you like.
Galison,
Sunny
there's
Sheu
two
was a
more
victim of
speakers.
mortgage fraud.
Mr.
We discussed
Galison,
mortgage fraud.
there are 2 more speakers
We
that we
discovered
said will
that-
come up and speak, and
Listen,
we
you
need
should
to
have
let them
stopped
to
Mr.
speak.
Fitzpatrick when he was
Mr.
congratulating
Galison,
all these people.
I'm asking you to give deference to the 2 other speakers here so they could speak tonight as well.
Lady-
Don't ask Mr. Galison. We need to wrap this up. And we also have a stenographer that has been working nonstop without a break.
But one of my colleagues has ceded her time to me. So I'm
And what
going
is
to
your
take those 3
colleague's
minutes.
name? What is her name? No, if you're not giving your name, then you weren't listed. Please. Let's wrap this up. Margarita Walter is the next speaker.
Margarita, where are you?
Margarita, we're welcoming you up to the podium. Thank
Sunny
you.
Sheu was murdered.
Mr. Galison.
Please, I'm going to do
This has now been
this in
7
20
minutes.
seconds. Yes, that's mostly arguing with you. Sunny Sheu was murdered. The medical examiner stated on the official report, which I'm going to give to you, that he died of severe blunt force trauma to the head with brain injuries and skull fractures 3 days after announcing public financial fraud by Judge Golia. The OCA has refused. I'm a reporter for Truth Out and for Blackstar News. Both of our organizations have tried to get the financial
Mr.
disclosure
Galison,
forms from the
Mr.
OCA,
Galison,
and they refuse.
we've
He is the
extended your
only
additional
judge.
Time. We're going to ask
who will
Margarita
not-
Walter to come up and testify.
The only judge who will not, whose financial forms are not available. Are you going to look into that? Is anybody here going to look into that? Or are you cowards? Or are you corrupt? That's what I'm asking.
Please
You're
leave your
complicit.
testimony. Thank you.
Sunny Sheu, I'm going to give you all the documentation. The police say he died of an aneurysm. The medical examiner says he died of head trauma. Who do you believe?
Thank you. Margarita Walter, and then after that, Barbara.